Coach Stotts was showing some of his versatility by heading into the control room, and I didn't realize they have a little slot machine game.
I didn't see. Did he win? I can't.
No, he didn't win, but he came close. Although I think this is one of those games 2 out of 3 doesn't really get you anything, unfortunately. But all you can do is try. All you can do is try.
Got to make the effort.
It's pretty amazing all those controls and how it's magic in there.
See how hard they work back there.
I was unaware that was available, but
we're out here working our butts off, and they're in there playing slots.
It's a good way to look at it. We're working hard. With regard to leadership, we talked about that, and Damian certainly embraces that and has really been a leader in many respects anyway since he got here. Myers recently said, I'd like to help. I'd like to be a leader too. Is it something that you think somebody can volunteer to do? Does it have to kind of be in them? Is it maybe a natural part of his progression as being more comfortable and obviously as being one of the guys that does know the way things are done around here? Do you look for him to maybe assume some of that?
It's obviously this is Damian's team, and he's embraced that role, and it's going to be very important. But I think it's important that he has good lieutenants, and I think the fact that CJ and Myers have been here, they have a relationship with Damian. They know what we want to do. Establishing a culture is very important. They understand, all those guys understand that part of it, and the fact that they're going to be counted on more for things on the court lends itself to them helping with the leadership role. And I think leadership, having like I said, good lieutenants, or having guys, so it's a group thing. Having group leadership is very important, and it helps in the locker room. And I think Myers and CJ both feel comfortable with where they are with themselves, within the context of the team and the organization and their future.
I know coming up later in the show, we're gonna see interviews with Al-Farouq Aminu and Noah Vonleh. So we're starting to hear more and more from the new guys. But one of the guys one of the acquisitions that maybe hasn't gotten a lot of press is Ed Davis. I mean, he's one of those guys that seems like everywhere he's been, he's had a level of success, and yet he's constantly been on the move.
Yeah, and that happens for a variety of reasons. But I do like Ed, and he's really impressed me in September. He's a gamer. He when he's out on the floor, he finds ways to be effective at both ends of the floor, and he plays hard. He has good length. He's quick defensively. He has a knack with his left hand of finishing around the basket, and he has good team understanding. I think he comes from a good program in North Carolina. So. I'm glad to have him on the team because, as you mentioned, he's been around. He's bounced around a little bit, but he's always, I think, established himself as a player that people respect.
The last 2 seasons when you had a more experienced team, you had a starting lineup that you knew you were going to send out there if they were healthy every night. As we said, new faces, young team this time around. Does it approach the message that you have at the start of training camp? I mean, those were teams the last couple of years that people certainly assumed a playoff spot. They assumed you were going to be somewhere around 50 wins and be a contender in the West. There's a lot of unknown as to what this team is capable of. So does that change your message in terms of what you talk to them about from day one of camp and what your expectations are?
No, and again, I go back to my first year here. People didn't really expect much of that team, and we were in the playoff mix until the end of March, and we played a good brand of basketball. And I don't know if back then, it's easy to say now, that people could see the career path of the main guys, Damian, Wes, Nick, and LaMarcus. Certainly everybody knew they were good players, but I think what they did with their careers in the last 3 years, nobody could really foresee. My message is, obviously people are going to ask, do you have aspirations to make the playoffs? And certainly back then, 3 years ago, I'm not going to tell a group of young guys that we're not trying to make the playoffs. Everyone in that locker room is very competitive, and our goal is to make the playoffs. And it's not an easy task, but certainly we're not going to go into the season not looking to make the playoffs. We're looking to be competitive. We're looking to win games, and we're looking to improve individually and collectively.
I gotta tell you, Coach, when you talk about expectation within the organization and things like that, when we were in Atlanta, the year I was in Atlanta with you, preseason starts. And this is my 10th year around the league. So I'm coming in, I'm kind of established. I know what I'm looking at. And I'm looking around the locker room, and the GM, I think it was Pete Babcock, I'm sorry. He comes in, and he has an envelope for every one of the players first day of training camp. And he passes out the envelope, right? And nobody can open it, so he tells everybody, okay, open your envelope. And we open the envelope, and there's a picture of a championship ring with each one of the players' name and numbers on it. So I open it up. And then I looked around the locker room, and I just started busting out laughing inside like, he can't be serious. He can't actually think we're going to win a championship with this roster. I think it speaks to you can't tell a team what they can't do, but at the same time, you can't necessarily put it out there, unrealistic expectations.
Well, I've never as long as I've been in the NBA, I don't think I've ever been with a team where we said our goal is this number of wins. Our goal was make the playoffs, win a division, win a first round of the playoffs, whatever it was. But it was those milestones, and the rest of the season is all about the process.
Right.
And if there ever was a team that I've been associated with, this team is going to epitomize how important the process is, and the process is going to define who we are by the end of the season. It's going to define who we are individually and collectively. And you're going to hear me say that a bunch because our job as coaches and players is every one of these players has to get better individually. And my job as the coach and all the coaches and the players is the team that we have in October and the team that we have in April. We need to be a different team, and how that evolves. And it's going to be because of the process. And like I said, this year is going to epitomize process.
The NBA changed the process for the playoffs a bit. Divisions really don't seem to mean anything anymore, and so they're going to take the top 8 teams, regardless of affiliation in the division. Top 8 teams, depending on record. Do you like the change? And some people think maybe it needs to have a step further because of the balance that doesn't seem to be there between West and East. So I don't know if there's ever a perfect solution, but this is one they felt was necessary to at least make some change.
Yeah, a lot was made of that. Since we won our division, and the Clippers, made the most noise about their playoff seeding, and which they have a tendency to do. So, I think the league usually makes the league usually gets it right, and I'm very proud. I wish the division meant a little bit more. I think it wins one tiebreak if there's a three-team tie and you won your division, you get something. But I wish the division meant a little bit more. But I think the league makes decisions in the best interest of the league.
That much we've always known.
Yes.
They do that. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, when you talk about the league, new commissioner, start of last season, we got a new commissioner, Adam Silver. He seems to do things very differently than his predecessor. He seems to have a different command of not just the league, but those things around him as well.
I don't know him well, but I certainly have been impressed with his tenure so far, and he's very open to change. He's open to new ideas. He's very confident in what he's doing, and he is his own man. David Stern obviously was probably the best history in the best commissioner in the history of sports. So you certainly can't criticize what he has done for the NBA and the job that he did in his tenure. But I think Adam has come in and is very comfortable with who he is and what he wants to do with the league.
You've been in places where you didn't necessarily always be able to count on the support of the fans, of the long-standing supporters of a team. But one thing that must be nice as a coach is that while sometimes the names on the back of uniforms might change in terms of who you're coaching, that there are still some great fans that are always waiting to support whoever comes out on the court as Portland Trailblazers, and that's going to be the case again this year as it always has been.
I can't tell you how many times this summer I've heard from the fans on the street or wherever just saying how much they're looking forward to watching this team play, and it is going to be fun. It's whatever happens, but I think the fans of Portland appreciate hard play. They enjoy watching young players get better, and certainly we want to win as many games as we can. Nothing beats winning in this league, but there's a deep appreciation for growth, and the fans have from day one since I've been here have been terrific.
Coach, you look great. Thank you for coming in. I'm glad it's been a good, productive summer, and you're rested, and we're going to see a lot of you starting next week. Whatever we can do to make your life easier, always know that's the case.
I know I can count on you guys. I'm already looking forward to our post-game press conference.
As are we. Thank you for coming in tonight.
All right, thanks.
Trailblazers head coach Terry Stotts joining us on Trailblazers Courtside. Still to come in our second half hour. Mike Barrett's visits with Noah Vonleh and Al-Farouq Aminu. Stick around. More Trailblazers Courtside as we continue stream live at trailblazers.com and simulcast on Comcast Sportsnet and the Blazers Radio Network.